Hi, Salkynai. Welcome to Venture Vibe. It's great to have you today. To start, could you briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Salkynai Emilbekova, and I work for the Accelerate Prosperity, which is a business accelerator and impact investor based in Kyrgyzstan. And what we do is we support early stage startups and digital startups through incubation and acceleration programs. And all our work focused on helping founders validate their ideas, find access to the mentors and speakers and investors, not only in Kyrgyzstan, but across the Central Asian region. And I've been working in this sector for the last 2 years. So I have some experience working not only with the founders from Kyrgyzstan, but also from all Central Asia. So yeah, basically helping to the development, contributing to the development of the startup ecosystem in Kyrgyzstan, I would say.
Great. That gave us a nice starting point. How would you describe the current startup ecosystem in Kyrgyzstan?
I think the ecosystem of Kyrgyzstan is still growing, but it's very dynamic. It's something that's very exciting to be part of the ecosystem that's still building, but has very long journey to go. If you compare to other ecosystems in Central Asia, I think we have still a long way to go, but still we have very ambitious founders, and the topic of startups and venture investment, for example, is becoming more and more interesting to the young people, especially because we do organize different kind of hackathon, for example, and the amount of applications we receive or amount of interest we receive from the audience, from people, are increasing from year to year. So yeah, that's very exciting. And we are lagging behind on the access to the financial instruments or the venture investments. For example, we don't have any VC based in Kyrgyzstan or operating solely in Kyrgyzstan. We do have a lot working in this region. I think that's something also to be excited for and help maybe one day also we'll be celebrating the opening of the first VC funds based in Kyrgyzstan.
Hope so. Zooming in a little, as someone work closely with founders, what types of startups or sectors are showing the most momentum in Kyrgyzstan?
As I said, overall, it's we work with the small and medium businesses, which are like traditional businesses, but also we work with the founders and startups. And startups, any kind of tech startups are growing and blooming and having its momentum. But what we can clearly see, like as a highlight, I think would be Fintech startups, because growing the rise and development of the financial institution or private banks that are helping to digitalize all the processes. For example, if you're paying, I think we have less people using cash and more people, maybe 90% using the QR codes for transferring money, for example. So, based on that, we have a lot of different kind of financial solutions, tech enabled, which helps the people and businesses to increase their or to make their operations more effective. The second thing I would highlight maybe educational technologies. Those are helping, for example, students at high schools or students at the universities, and also teachers at the universities also to be more efficient with how they schedule maybe their classes or work with the students. So it's becoming more and more digitalized as well, which is really nice. And overall, on all verticals, I would say the AI-enabled solutions helps, for example, in the B2B SaaS solutions, it can be productivity tools or optimizing the business processes. So a lot of people using AI, integrating AI, or maybe their solutions is based on the AI models and LLM. So basically those are what has been very interesting to follow in our ecosystem.
AI, EdTech, and Fintech, you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. What are the main challenges early stage founders face when trying to scale or become investment ready in the region? Access to capital, skills, network, etc.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think one of the biggest challenges is moving from the idea stage to validating business model, because when we have especially the hackathons or incubation programs, we have a lot of people coming with different kind of ideas. For example, I have an idea to open a startup. It's going to be amazing, but they don't have enough they haven't done enough research at the market, like what kind of competitors they have, what kind of competitive advantage they have in the market, and what is the market itself. Like, are you gonna sell only in this country or in this village, or are you gonna expand in the future, for example? So yeah, first thing is lack of enough, probably the founders not doing enough of, let's say, homework and not doing the research and going blindly to the market with their products, because that might hurt themselves and their products like in the nearest 2 to 3 months. And I think that's the benefit of participating at the incubation programs, because you can easily test your products with the support of mentor and see and validate your idea, for example. Or if the idea is outdated, let's say, you can go and maybe pivot your idea to something different. And the second challenge, I would say, is for those who already found the product market fit. They have validated their idea, but it's the investment readiness, overall readiness to accept the investment from the venture funds or from investment organizations or funds or even business angels. It's like going through the due diligence process and like overall the fundraising skills, because as I said, since we don't have that many capital in our country, and yeah, it might be a bit challenging. But what we do is we do acceleration programs, which are focused on the investment readiness. It's called Investment Readiness Acceleration that we ran last year. So, and we were helping them to communicate with the VCs. We invited the regional VC funds to our country so they can like see the pitches of startups and evaluate them and give their feedback. So yeah, those are two challenges that I can tell that exists in our ecosystem. And yeah, such ecosystem players as Accelerate Prosperity is trying to help maybe with tackling those challenges.
Okay. You mentioned before you don't have a VC for now.
Yeah.
Mhm. Looking at this from a global perspective, for international investors or ecosystem builders looking at Kyrgyzstan or Central Asia, what do they often misunderstand or completely overlook?
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just underestimating Central Asian as a region, because it has a lot of great potential in its founders and the startups, overall in the ecosystem. And I think taking Central Asia as a one ecosystem has more ambitions than looking at each country by itself. Yeah, maybe you heard about the first unicorn from Kazakhstan, Hicksfeld, and they are doing amazing job right now with the global market being the number one on the AI videos, etc. So yeah, I think as a region we have really great potential, and the founders, they have really strong like tech foundation, and they can achieve great thing in the future. But what they are lacking for now, it's support in different kind of. It can be support through mentorship, support through the examples or success stories or failure stories maybe, and of course capital and investments. So I think what maybe we can, as an ecosystem player, suggest to overall like the foreign investors, etc., just keep an eye on Central Asian market, because it's emerging market, but it's growing day by day. So yeah, something interesting is definitely gonna happen in the nearest future.
Yeah, great. Before we wrap up, what advice would you give to founders in emerging markets who want to create both impact and sustainable business?
Yeah, I think it's also going back to the answer that I gave about challenges that startups are facing currently. It would be focusing deeply on real customer problems, finding the problem their product can really solve, and validate that idea on the early stage. And I think because in our market, and maybe in any kind of market, traction speaks louder than ideas. And when VCs are coming, or any kind of experienced ecosystem player, they're asking for the traction, like what is your MRR, or what is your, do you have an MVP, and etc. So it would be great if they concentrate really deeply and exploring the customer needs, finding the product market fit, and then going and raising money. So, and also, of course, applying for acceleration and incubation programs, because they can be a really good growth accelerator during their early stages.
Thank you so much, Salkynai, for sharing your insights and experience with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation.
Hope to see you again.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.